Good morning, everybody. Welcome into the right side of campus here for Thursday, November 15th, 2018. I'm your host, the big man on campus here with Donnie Wright to get you ready for another day in sports. Thursday night football, got some college as well. You know the drill. This is what we do here on the channels. We'll get into that and more. Get you ready for the day. I hope everyone had a great evening and you're having a good day at work or wherever you are right now. Let's bring in our co-host, Donnie Wrightside. Donnie, how you doing tonight?
Doing good, man. Fresh off the poker tournament last night, Jeff. Made it through. I think 50 or so people dropped out of the tournament before I did, so I consider that a considerable success on my part. But hey, here we are today. Another day, another dollar. Exciting weekend to go right here on the right side of campus.
Welcome in. Hope you all hit the like button and say hello. If you're new around here, make sure you subscribe as well. So much great content here on the channels and throughout the website. If you're looking for a sportsbook, make sure you're using sportsbookreview.com. They review them. They give you the grade on them. Make sure that they're used properly and that you can get what you want out of them. So make sure you use Sportsbook Review and the odds section as well. So SPR odds for all your odds needs. 40 sports books. You can get a variety of different odds. Make sure you check it out today. But Donnie did mention poker tournament wrapped up last night. That was a fun time for all that were in. There were a lot of people, good amount of people, and I considered it a success. So we'll see if we get another one. I think maybe that should be something we do on a regular basis. It was a fun time, and definitely should do it again. Let's get into the headlines here as we start out the show this morning. LeBron James drops 44. His best game as a Laker. He also had close to a triple-double. He needed one more assist to get to that triple-double. Couldn't get there. But again, Lakers have won, I believe, 4 in a row playing good basketball right now.
Oh, were you yawning there again? I'm sorry about that. Yeah, no, Lakers are playing really good basketball.
What do you mean was I yawning again? No, I was finishing my comment and I was going to get your opinion on the Lakers last night. What did you think on the Lakers?
I'm sorry. I thought you were mid-sentence there and just yawned, so I wanted to be polite and let you yawn and get it out of the way. No, I thought the Lakers were pretty good last night. Saw some highlights coming up from them, and we knew it all along, Jeff. Lakers were struggling. Ain't no way, Jeff. The NBA was going to let the Lakers go down like that. You know it. You know it. I know it. Lakers going to be buoyed this entire year in the NBA by the refs, the officials, and the league. They have no choice but to do that, Jeff. They might even intervene in Golden State right now and say, you guys can't break up. You're the only thing we have going for in this NBA. Please do not break up. The NBA, man, they might be doing some crisis management a la, mid-'80s when they had the cold envelope to make sure Patrick Ewing was delivered to the Knicks. They're pretty good at what they do, the NBA, Jeff, structuring this stuff.
Yeah, it was. We had a fun, it's an interesting team, the Lakers, because you saw LeBron go out there and you thought to yourself, wow, that's obviously that's a career move down the road. It's an entertainment move, but they're actually playing pretty well. I mean, 6-5. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. I don't think the NBA has anything to do with it personally. I think they're just playing good basketball, Donnie. But LeBron last night, great night, 44. I believe he's now 5th in the league history in points. So he'll continue to rise up. He's still 7,000 points away from, I believe, from someone. I don't know who it is. I want to say Kareem probably. So, Donnie, the big question is, will he ever get to that point? 7,000.
Yeah, he might. I mean, he might be able to stay. If his goal was to stay around as long as his son might make the league, you never know, man. You might see a LeBron now with all this technology and nutrition and training regimens. He might stick around for the 5, 6, 7 years and just pick up 1,000 points a year, whatever it is, as he gets older.
Sure. I would like to apologize to Natalie. I eliminated her last night. Listen, John, you don't got to apologize. It's poker. That's how it goes, man. Donnie, that's one thing at poker tables I've always don't understand. Like, people will knock me out. They'll take all my money and they'll be like, "Well, sorry." It's like, well, I don't know. I mean, we're playing poker. I mean, I wouldn't be really sorry if I took your money. So, no need to be sorry, John. How did I do?
I thought the poker tournament went well. I thought it went well, Jeff, for the first time doing it. Nobody really knew the software. We went live like right at 9, and all of a sudden the cards were being dealt. So next time, I'm sure we'll probably get on the air a little bit earlier, have some fun, and segue right into the poker tournament. But I thought it went over well. A couple hundred people in there, and the software was good. I had a good time.
How did Big Man do? I think I finished 100th. I was 100th on the dot. Who lasted longer between Donnie? Donnie went out like, I don't know, pretty early. I mean, he did. Loshak actually went out the first. Peter Loshak was the first.
Yeah, I went all
person
in.
out.
I had like a 50-50 hand with somebody else. We went all in. I lost, and he won, and that's what happens in tournaments. You know what I mean?
The thing about the tournament is, it's the blinds are only 8 minutes long, so the blinds go up quickly. And by level 7 or 8, you only got 3,000 chips. So if I had like 2,800 chips by level 7. I found Jack 9 of spades. That's a good drawing hand. I pushed. I didn't get. I had 2 callers, so that was not good. But it's tough because you don't have a ton of time to really sit around and wait for hands. You got to play. You can't bluff. Online poker is very difficult. And again, Donnie, I'm not making excuses, but I'm not an online guy. I prefer to play live again. But I look forward to the next one. It's fun times. It's good to have all the people around, and it's fun doing it. Duke rolls again. Big win for Duke. They keep going. They beat Eastern Michigan 84-46, and Zion had another big game. But Donnie, it is Eastern Michigan. They were up 44-13 at half. Over bettors were not happy in this game. You had to figure the 13 points. I think a lot of people knocked Duke for their defense, but defense is never a problem last night.
No, they're fun. They're fun. I catch, I don't watch their full game because there's no point early in the season, but you catch bits and pieces. They're so talented out there, and they're so much fun to watch. It's great. You need a team like this in college basketball to make it worth your while. And what I mean by that is not gambling, because we can find value, Jeff, on number 1 all the way through 330 or whatever it is in college basketball. But I like one of those top dogs where everybody's waiting for them to lose. Everybody wants to see them play. You circle games on the calendar, like, ooh, this might be a spot they can get caught up. Ooh, how about this spot right here coming in a back-to-back game? This is going to be a lot of fun to watch Duke go, and I see already people, I'm betting Duke every game. I'm just rolling over my profit to the next game. I think they're going to go undefeated. It's fun to have a team that's this talented and this good to actually watch throughout the season.
By the way, another college basketball. Shout out to the Radford Highlanders beating Notre Dame last night without their best player. How about that? Carlik Jones didn't even play, Donnie, and Notre Dame still couldn't beat Radford. I'm telling you,
Radford, where was that a couple nights ago? You know what I mean? Come on.
Yeah, against Illinois Chicago. Exactly. Great point, Donnie. No, I'm telling you, though, watch out for Radford. Good team down in the Big South. They're playing good defense. A little mid-major update for you. Nova, Donnie gets beaten up last night. How about that? The story of the night. And Donnie, when you see Villanova or anybody that plays Michigan lose, and they always interview John Beilein, and you always see that little smirk on his face. It's like, well, you fuckers bet against me again. You knew I knew what was going on here. What a great win. What an impressive win. Defensively, they look terrific. Brazdeikis, Charles Matthews, both in double figures. But the big story last night was Villanova. They couldn't score. Michigan was absolutely terrific. This isn't the same efficient Villanova team. They're very good, though. You held them to 46. What a night for Michigan on the road in Villanova.
Yeah, Villanova's a big-time program. National titles now. They spent a lot of money redoing the pavilion at Villanova, and I saw the game, and the pavilion looks exactly the same. Why don't we just go down to the Wells Fargo Center and play every single game down there where you can attract that huge Philly market crowd and get after it? Because anybody knows Villanova is just outside the city limits. It takes a little bit of time from Villanova to get into Philadelphia. So most people, if you're in South Jersey, Central Jersey, Philadelphia, you don't really want to drive out to Villanova. Just have it an easy place to get to. Have it in a big, nice arena where you can fill it up. The pavilion just looks like they should be playing somewhere, I don't know, Jeff, in the MAC or maybe the Metro Atlantic Conference. Just get rid of that thing on campus. They redid it, Jeff, and it looks exactly the same except for like a scoreboard.
Yeah, well, and they named it something different.
No, like okay, yeah,
But
but DuPont's always had a problem. But like getting back to your point, Jeff, what you talked about the other day, like Cincinnati. Like Cincinnati redid the arena. It looks beautiful. It looks big time. It looks like a major Division I place. It just looks like a big high school gym at Villanova. I don't. And this isn't a low level program, Jeff. This is a national title program.
yeah, look, I agree. I like the small arena. I'm a fan of it. But again, when you're a Villanova, I mean, you got to have maybe a bigger place to play. Again,
Yeah,
they want to
like
be at
St. Joe,
home.
for instance, out on the main line. Like that looks like this. That's a similar gym to what Villanova has. That shouldn't be the case.
No. Well, listen, I mean, Villanova is a huge program, but again, these kids don't want to. They don't want to play at the Sixer Stadium every. I mean, they want to play on campus. That it's good for the kids. It's good for. But according, Donnie, to what they did, I guess they added more along the lines of outside, like in the lobbies and stuff like that. There's like more room, and so I don't know. But I actually don't mind the stadium. I think it's pretty cool. I
And they
mean,
play all
I
their
don't know.
bigger games anyway at the Wells Fargo. You know what I mean? Like, why would you revamp and spend all that money when you play most? Because they were going to play Michigan there anyway, because they wanted to unveil the arena and do all that stuff. But they primarily play all of their big games at the Wells Fargo, and they should. And they should just play all their games there. If you're a national championship team, play all your games there. People want to come out and see it.
I think it's pretty cool, Donnie, at the Finnemer Pavilion, how like the behind the baskets it just goes up and you don't really see where it stops. I kind of think that's cool, but yeah, I hear you. I mean, it's not. It kind of looks weird up at the like ceilings and stuff. It looks like a new arena. It doesn't look like your old school, like Leah Course Center, Donnie. I feel like that's bigger than Finneran Pavilion, and that's
It
Temple.
is way bigger. It's way bigger.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd like to know. There's 6,500 seats in Finneran Pavilion.
That's what I'm saying.
So
Why does Temple have the Leocoris Center? And they got that 20 years ago. It's still a nice facility, and it's way nicer than Villanova. And Villanova's a much better program. It's really an odd circumstance where Nova just doesn't say, you know what? Let's just keep this as, because you see it on a lot of these campuses. Like that gym would turn into just the girls' gym, and then the men's team would just go to the Wells Fargo Center. Every single campus has it just about that way anymore. Where a lot of times the women's facility is the older men's facility. So I don't know why they just didn't do that.
Maction last night. That was an interesting night, Donnie. Buffalo got killed. What the hell happened to Buffalo last night?
Got it after being up 7-0. How about yesterday? We're saying to Jeff the points of views coming into this game, and thank goodness I didn't lose a lot of money on either one of these because I only bet I thought Buffalo had some value at +3. Took a little McDonald's money, ended up losing it. But getting down to the point where Jeff, it was like saying, look, these college kids really want to play football. Both teams that needed to or didn't need to win those games, both got bounced in each one of those. Like, ain't no big deal. Like once Buffalo got up 7-0, like, damn, look at that. Buffalo came ready to play. And the minute they got down 21-7, it was almost like the entire team was like, dude, we got Bowling Green next week. It's just
Yeah,
not
I
going to hurt
mean,
tonight. Let's get out of here. We beat Bowling Green. We move on. And then the NIU game. Was there a lot of juice in that game where they're going, we're already in the championship game? Like, oh, all right, if we win, great. If we lose, who cares?
yep. No, I think that's exactly how it ended up. Tyree Jackson wasn't good, had a few interceptions, had a big fumble inside the 5-yard line. Just an ugly game for Buffalo. And we've seen, Donnie, a lot of games. This conference is tough, man. Like, there's a lot of games where just the most random shit happens. Like Ohio loses and is getting blown out by Miami of Ohio, comes back but doesn't win, and then Miami of Ohio runs with Buffalo, and then Buffalo gets killed by Ohio. Weird conference. Also, last night, Dottie mentioned it. Miami of Ohio gets a win. They're one game away from a bowl win. It looked like one team really had something to play for, and the other team didn't, which you mentioned. So, and that came to fruition. Under easily comes in. I mean, 13-7. This under came in by 4 touchdowns, Donnie.
No, it's I like that nice dichotomy in the MAC, Jeff. We have one game that's flying off the rails with Buffalo and Ohio, and then you flip on the other channel and you get one game that just nobody can move the football. So that's MAC football in a nutshell right there. You never know what's going to bust loose in those games.
You're totally right about that.
Mhm.
Aloha, tuning in from Hawaii. Wow, great.
Yes.
Welcome in, Suze.
Early.
Hawaii, great. Yeah, it is early. What time is it there? It's got to be like 5 a.m.
5 hours? Yeah, like 5 a.m. out there, right? Sure.
Must be getting you're not just getting up for us, I hope.
Jet lag. Yeah, man. You get a little jet. You're waking up like me, man. I go out to Las Vegas. I'm up before the sun comes up, man. Ridiculous.
But no, like if you live there, like you're not. I hope you're not just waking up for us. Like I mean, that's cool you are, but hope you have another reason to wake up at 5 a.m. Because no offense, Donnie, because I'm not waking up for that if I lived in Hawaii.
I would already be up. Good for him or her.
Who starts for the Ravens? That's a good question. According to Harbaugh, it looks like they're gonna ride Flacco to the end, but I wouldn't mind a little change of pace, Donnie, with Lamar Jackson. You got a bad defense you're facing this week. You're at home. I like the Ravens.
I actually think they're going to lean. I saw these smoke screens coming out. I actually wouldn't mind RG3 starting and playing the majority of the game with some packages set up for Lamar Jackson. Because I actually don't think it matters. I was asked yesterday a couple times, what do you think of the Cincinnati game? Because I was saying Baltimore, and I was saying, well, who's the quarterback? Does it matter at this point? Does it matter if Flacco's back there? And do you want Flacco back to who's already a slug with a bad hip? I don't want him anywhere near that. I think their offense can be just fine because you hit the nail on the head. Cincinnati stinks on defense no matter who is going to be a quarterback. That's my viewpoint here.
Exactly. That's very simple and very astute, Donnie. By the way, Cincinnati, among the worst defenses in the league.
Yep.
It's interesting how far they've fallen, Donnie. Used to be pretty good. I mean, it used to be really good. I had a great linebacking core and they were hard hitters.
That's what injuries will do to a defense, man. They're decimated over there. And then you just throw in on the offense, you lose your best player. And what do you have to play for? I don't know. Maybe Hugh Jackson comes in, fires it up, Jeff, and they get after it.
Yeah, maybe that will change. Good point. A lot of international love on the chat today. Colombia's in here. South Africa. Wow, 5 p.m. with thunderstorms approaching. How about that, Donnie?
Yes.
The Rude checking in from South Africa. Donnie, what's the capital of South Africa?
Johannesburg.
Oh, yeah. Good call. Nice work.
Yep.
Eddie Sanchez, what's happening? Appreciate it. Jay the Gifted always catches everybody by 7 a.m. Well, that's great. Thanks, bro. Appreciate it. There's some early risers like that. You can get a lot done, Donnie. Early bird catches the worm, as Marlo Stanfield said. Make sure you get up early. Good stuff. Shout out to Bermuda.
There you go.
How about that, Donnie? Little international flair. And it's snowing like a motherfucker here. And this guy's in Bermuda.
Everybody's out on islands and South Africa.
Well,
by the way, I heard IFBC next year, Jeff, is in Cape Town next year, South Africa.
Okay, that'd be cool.
That's a long flight.
Reporting
make that flight though? I don't know if I could make that flight.
Yeah, I don't either. Reporting from Vietnam. How about that? Slovenia.
No, hey, this is look here. I'm going to from.
Oh, Ant Fan, Hanoi, Vietnam. Wow, Slovenia. Shout out to the Slovenians. This is very cool. I didn't know all these people internationally listen. Settle down, right side. Settle down, Bonzone. That's not funny.
We're all
what's
over
up, guys?
Man, I love.
Hey, Donnie, remember this? Big man got hot in college basketball last year. And I got my mom to make a pick. Yes, she did. My mom made a pick on Thanksgiving. San Diego State against, I don't know, some really small school. I forget who it was. And did hit. So
there you go.
Had a little sneeze attack there, Donnie. Sorry.
Sheesh. Bad over there, huh?
Can't control the sneezes. Yeah, sometimes they just surprise you.
Jeff, we're big in the military. We're big in. We're big in the military where you can just log on. We're on the Air Force's network as well.
No, I didn't know that. Really? Well, if we are, hey, shout out to the military. I'm a big military guy, as many know. I support the Navy, the Coast Guard, the Marines.
You know what? Why does it? Look, SBR should send us on a USO trip, Jeff. Me and you, they fly us into where the troops are. We go around the helicopters. We have like the helmets on and stuff, and we just spread good cheer and talk sports gambling to those guys. How about it?
I would love to,
right? Yeah,
I would love to do a little USO action. Yeah. I would love that. I listen, let me tell you something, Donnie. I love the military. I think the military are fascinating. I think they're better men than I am. And I would love if I was a little less a dickhead and could listen to people, I would have did that when I was young, 19. I would have went in. I think.
Yeah, you're right.
You know,
You're right on that part. Like going because I think I would have been a good soldier, but I don't think I
oh,
would have
you
been a
would have.
good
You're
soldier
very. Yeah.
if I went to the academies because that's tough, man. Like no time to yourself for 4 years and this that. I think I would have been better off just going to like Paris Island, going through boot camp and then just becoming a Marine. Could you have made it through like school, like
No.
Navy or Army? I don't know if I could have done that,
Well,
man.
I could probably do that, but the thing for me is I didn't want to go to boot camp. I didn't want to, I don't think I could. I don't think I could deal with that
I
personally.
got a
Like I
question
could
for you. How
take.
about this, Jeff? If if you go to somebody out there probably went Army or Navy, do you have a boot camp? Or is just your
Yes,
school your boot camp?
everybody has
Like
boot camp.
when you graduate Navy and you're like an officer, do you go through boot camp somewhere?
Yeah, everybody has boot camp. Now, like
What do
I
they do
believe the Air
before they
Force.
go? Before you're in or when you get out? Like when do you actually go through it then?
I want to say you do it. Basic training is weeks 1 to 8. It's approximately 8 week long. 8 weeks long. The goal is to transform a civilian into a sailor with all the skills necessary to perform in the fleet, which is
No,
the
but is that
naval
at
academy.
that's at Annapolis? Like before you go your freshman
No,
year, you basically do.
no, it's no. There's one location, the Great Lakes Naval Training Center, which is on Lake Michigan near Chicago. That's where
Dang,
basic Navy training is. Army,
you
I
got to
believe it's what was that?
be regimented. That's a because I mean, when you see what they do, like like when they go to like the Naval Academy or Army, like the football players and stuff. I mean, you
Yep.
start at like 5 a.m. and you run all the way through 10 o'clock, and it's just constant. And the academics are extremely hard on top of everything. Wow, man,
Now
these kids get after it,
the
man.
Now, basic combat training in the Army lasts 10 weeks. Now, if you're infantry and armor, that lasts 14 to 16 weeks. It's in different areas: Fort Benning, Georgia, South Carolina, and Missouri. Missouri. So, plenty of yes. Everyone goes through basic. That's to get you implemented into the way of life to be a military man. But again, Donnie, the regimented stuff is something you're going to expect. And then obviously, if you're like Navy, you would go wherever you're going to go as far as your career. You want to go be, you're a student, you go to the academy, you go to
Get a job
budge
wherever you
training
want
with the
when you're done
SEAL.
too.
Yeah.
Yep, damn right.
Yep. Yep. I mean, like that budge training for like Navy SEALs, like that's like the hardest stuff on earth
Couldn't
as
do
far
it.
as,
I would love
yeah.
like you would say like, oh, you always want to be the top level. I want to be a Marine. I want to be a Navy SEAL. I can't. I couldn't do it. I'm sorry. Like the drowning and the simulation of drowning and I'm not. Here's what I have a problem with, Jeff. I don't like to be cold. So if you're gonna exercise me in the middle of the night somewhere and put me in the ocean for like 10 straight hours, I will crumble. I will crumble on the spot. I can't. I won't have enough fortitude to be like, you know what? Let's fight on. When my body shuts down when I get really cold, I could. I don't know how they do it. Like I watch like those the documentaries you're talking about or the movies, and I say to myself, there's no way I could be like with the big log on me in the ocean, freezing cold for hours. I couldn't do it.
Now, Donnie, approximately 40,000 people are recruited by the Navy each year. Due to the popularity of the SEALs, almost half of all recruits express interest in becoming a
Yeah.
SEAL.
Yep.
Most do not complete the requirements. And according to the military.com, Donnie, only 6% of SEAL applicants meet the requirements. So, yeah, it's tough. If you don't like water and cold and stuff, yeah, you're probably
Yes,
not
and
going to
that's
do
what they
well.
do to you. Their job is to break you down mentally. And you want to break me down mentally, man, just get me cold. I'll break down straight up.
Yeah. Do you know what BUD stands for?
No, I do not.
Basic underwater demolition.
No, exactly. Yeah, don't do that to me.
So that doesn't sound good from the beginning. So shout out to all of our military people,
Yep.
the best in the world. Very, very happy to be protected by them. Let's keep it moving here. Thursday night football, Donnie. Getting into the nitty gritty here. We got a good game tonight. Green Bay headed on the road to take on Seattle, the Seahawks. 3 total 48. Donnie, the Packers haven't won on the road since Week 14 in 2017. It's been a while, and now basically you're saying you got to go on the road up to Seattle, one of the better home field advantages in the league, and with a defense that's struggled on the road. I mean, let's be real here. They're 0-4, like I said, they haven't won a game, and they're giving up 31 points a game on the road. A Seattle offense is starting to get going a little bit. They're running the football with Carson and Penny and doing a nice job with it. And this is what's kind of irritating about our Eagles, because Seattle doesn't have the big names, but they're able to run the football. They don't have a great offensive line. You got to stick to the run, and Seattle's been doing that. They have over 150 yards since they haven't had under 150 yards rushing since I think week 3. It's been an impressive run for Seattle, but they have lost 2 straight. What do you like here? Tough game. I think Green Bay's overall the slightly better team, but I don't like them on the road. They just don't win there.
Like Seattle's offense, Jeff, wouldn't it fit in real well in the Sun Belt? You run read option, like, hey, look at Seattle. They run for 180 yards a game and pass for 200. That's like a Sun Belt read option type team. Credit Pete Carroll for really adjusting his overall team game plan from saying, hey, you know what, Russ, just go out there and make plays, to we're actually going to run the football and we're going to stick it to you. Because in the Rams games, the past 2 times they played them, that's worked to their advantage. Now, when you're looking at betting this game, most people are going to have a hard time saying this, Jeff. Well, I watch Aaron Rodgers, and you can't stop Aaron Rodgers, or it's hard to stop Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers is getting points. Seattle's not the team that they used to be. I hear all that, but you have to look at what Seattle does. If I were to ask you a question right now, Jeff, to you right now, which is a tougher matchup to play as a team, playing the Rams or the Packers right now?
A tougher matchup as a defense?
Yeah, like who do you not? Would you rather play right now, the Rams, or would you rather play the Green Bay Packers over team-wise? I'm talking offense, defense, everything.
I'd probably play the Packers for sure.
Exactly. So, I mean, when you try to take some like environments here, the Seattle Seahawks took haymakers from the Los Angeles Rams, who are head and shoulders, to me, above the Green Bay Packers. Yeah, well done. They went to the Coliseum, they almost beat them. I mean, it's the NFL. That's going to happen. But when you're looking talent-wise of stopping an offense, it's easier to me to stop the Green Bay offense than it is Todd Gurley and that machine coming at you as the Rams. What did those scores end up happening, Jeff? 33-31. Took a fourth quarter, 4th down sneak in your own territory to clinch that game to beat them first time around. You just saw the game they played last week. Seattle had the lead for the majority of the game. They get strip sack fumbled. They go down double digits. But lo and behold, here comes Russell Wilson, a touchdown drive, and gets the football driving for the win on the next series as well. This team's built for it, man. Green Bay is not a great road team. They haven't shown up at all, basically, on the road this year. Short work week, banged up on defense. This is where Russell Wilson says, you know what? I'm just going to run around the pocket. You're not going to catch me and make my own plays. Seattle. It was 2.5 yesterday. It's 3 today, and I agree with the line movement. There's no way I'm taking Green Bay on the road here on a short work week. Absolutely not.
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. That's exactly what I would have said. I don't think we need to say much more. Road team, Thursday night, hasn't won on the road this year or up until week 14 last year. So, yeah, I agree. Donnie, pretty funny comment here. Well, not funny, but an interesting comment. Nick Dial says, perfect weather to train in water in Michigan, because the Navy first started in Michigan. Nick, they do train in California. They do give you that, Donnie. They don't make you train in cold water in Michigan. They do actually send you to California. So luckily, it's
they don't dip you in the water. They don't dip you in the waters of Lake Minnetonka, Jeff. I mean, it's cold, man. I just don't want to be cold. I don't want to be cold. Like people say, like, Donnie, well, why do you live on the East Coast? You live in New Jersey. You don't like the cold. I like the cold, but I like the cold when I'm ready for it. Like I like the cold when I have a nice puff jacket. And it's like, you know what? Ooh, I like the change of temperatures. You know what? I don't like the cold. If I had no shirt on and it's raining and it's 40 degrees and I have to walk through a river. No, I don't. That's when I don't like the cold.
And again, I'm not at all belittling anything that those guys do, because I couldn't last 20 seconds probably. Well, maybe I could 20, maybe 2 minutes or 3 minutes. But I'm saying this. It is cool that at least they're in California. Not bad. 70 degrees. Not terrible. But again, it gets cold at night. I mean, it's not like it's 70 at night. It gets down into the 50s at night probably. It's not ideal either. But when I first met Donnie, the first meeting I ever had with Donnie Wrightson was many years ago. It was the Saints-Eagle playoff game, Donnie, which was, I don't know, I think it was 5 or 6 years ago at this point.
Wow.
That's the first time I met Donnie Wrightson personally, and I remember I was down in 108 down at the Eagle game, and he comes up. He says, "I'm in your section," and he has this big jacket on, these boots. I said, "Jesus!" I was thinking to myself, "Whoa! I mean, it's pretty cold. This guy looks like he's ready for war. He's ready to, run the Iditarod or something." He was he was ready to go. Donnie definitely likes to be warm. I know that.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah. I got the Under Armours on, the face, everything. Because I mean, I've been to many Eagles games where it was freezing cold. It's funny too because Jeff, we all have these people in life. Like I know how to dress for cold, and I overdress for cold. My father, who goes to the games with me for the majority of the time, he's the opposite. It's going to be cold down there. He comes with like some dingy sweatshirt, and he's freezing in the first quarter, and I
Yeah.
rip him. So the next game we go to, it's cold. He starts to layer up, or like he just has like a t-shirt on in like mid-October. I thought it would be nicer down here. I was just saying, how many games have you been to here in Point Breeze where it's freezing cold? I mean, come on. Do you have anybody like that in your life, Jeff? Never prepared. It's raining, it's muddy, it's snowing. You're like, dude, what are you wearing?
Yeah. No, I don't. I don't
That's
think
my
I
dad.
do just because I'm like, I think the
No
people I hang out with
socks.
kind of. Yeah. No. No. Wow. No sock. Wow. No, I don't think I really do know anyone like that. I just kind of say to them once you're an asshole, and then they don't do it again. So, yeah, I don't think. What else do we have here? Paco also saying they don't let you sleep 1 hour a day for a week straight.
Yes, acting not.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm cracked.
that's
I'd be cracked, man. Yeah, I'm not. I can't. I don't understand it.
Donnie. Here's the thing. You know what I learned? I was listening to this thing about the Marines the other day, and this guy was talking about how you can do anything. Your body will let you do a lot of things. He said, but it's this
Yes.
mental. You got to be mentally like there are
Yes.
those people that run like those 100-mile like marathon kind of things. There's like
Hmm.
Ironman things, and like
Yeah, the
they were
extreme
talking
marathon.
about.
Sure.
Yeah, the one girl, the woman Marine was on there talking about how like she thinks she could probably do it. It's just really about for a month mentally getting ready for that. Knowing that mentally you can do it. Most people can do things like I'm not like comparing this, but when I first started working out, Donnie, I often thought to myself like, "There's no way I can do this stuff. Like I don't want to do it. I don't think I could do it." And then once I started doing it, and I got mentally, "Wow, you can do this." It was a lot easier. It was just.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. That's ridiculously unbelievable. Um, Tasha checking in from Toronto. Welcome in, Toronto. Canada in the building. Let's keep it moving, Donnie. We got some more topics to get to here. Little Thursday night college football. We get to that. We got a few games on the card here. So, first
Hmm.
one, 309, 310. Toledo heading on the road to take on Kent State. Toledo, 58.5 the total. Toledo laying the 12. Look, Donnie, we know what Kent are. They're bad. They're not winning anything. They're 2-8. Toledo needs this one. They need to get to that elusive sixth victory. They should get it. They got Kent and Central Michigan last 2 games of the year. But again, you want to get it done when you can get it done. Tonight should be one you can get it done against. Kent State has continued to struggle defensively, though at home they've been a bit better. And they've actually, Donnie, covered all 3 games against the spread at home this year. So how about that? Kent State hanging in games. Are Toledo good enough to cover this kind of number, Donnie? Kent's been good at home.
Yeah, it's interesting when you look because, Godwani's out for the year, but Eli Peters has shown he can play good and bad. Against the poorer teams, he has stepped up and they have moved the football. But in that game versus NIU in the cold weather and wind, they didn't look all that good. But what resistance are you going to get out of the Kent State defense at this point? That's what you're going to be worried about. And also, if you're trying to play that little bowl factors, you can't really say, let's roll our helmets out there. We have 2 games left. We just need one win. Like when you have Kent State on the line, don't you have to go out and just beat this team and just end it right there? It's a road game. I understand that. But Kent State doesn't give me all that much to get excited about. Rolled against Buffalo. How much do you take out of Jeff a win against Bowling Green? But having said that, this is the MAC. And you're getting a team in the MAC at home close to 2 touchdowns where we see anything can happen in these games. I don't have a great feel because I think Toledo without their best quarterback is not a great play. But there's so much more talent, Jeff, on that Toledo team. And Kent State is so bad. One team needs this game. The other one's like, hey, let's see what we got. I guess you would say Toledo, but these are hard games to cap.
Well, here's a little. This is a good stat here against non-top 90 teams. So anybody at 90th or worse, and Kent State is definitely in that billing. Toledo's averaging 7.1 yards per play and 53.5 points a game in 4 games against those type of teams. Against teams inside the top 90, goes down to 5.4 and 28.6. So virtually half. as far as again, they should be beating non-top 90 teams badly, but they're putting up a ton of points. I don't think Kent State can keep up here. 12 might not be enough. Toledo's one of those teams that really can jump out and bludgeon you, especially a bad team. So I don't know. I mean, there's no real weather conditions here.
I mean, it is going to be here. It's light rain and 34, Jeff. That's not very fun. So that might add into it where maybe because Kent State, Barrett is a running quarterback if you've watched him. I'm actually surprised that he doesn't have more touchdown passes because you're playing the MAC and you go 100 miles an hour. You should have more touchdown passes. But the one thing he can do is drop back and run a little bit. So maybe that'll be a saving grace. It's a brutal game, though. It really is just a brutal game.
Here's what I'm seeing weather-wise. About 8 o'clock, which when this game getting going, no wind, cold, and snow will be tapering off. Snow and light rain will be tapering off. Kind of a mixed bag of fun here. So by 10 o'clock, 10% chance of precipitation. So could be a problem initially in this game. And I'm sure with our luck, it'll be the whole game. So that could be an issue. I'm just seeing that here. Good call, Donnie. But yeah, I just see what Kent State is not doing, and I see what Toledo has done against bad football teams, and they generally bludgeon them, and that's generally what happens in these types of games. Let's go to the next one here. Tulane should be better weather conditions here. Tulane headed on the road to take on Houston. Houston 9.5, total 67. I saw, Donnie, what Tulane is. They're a pretty bad offense, a defense that's, I guess, bend to not break. I don't know that I trust the passing game that they have defensively. They do give up a lot of yards through the air. Last 2 games, 332 and 380. They're going to look to try to force turnovers and things like that. But Houston off 2 straight losses, they have to kind of find that the season is what it is. I mean, Donnie, how many wins does Houston have? What are they at? They're at 7-3. Okay, they're good to go. But a team that obviously scores a ton of points. They have the worst passing defense in the country. But I don't know if that's a huge issue in this game because Tulane doesn't really throw the ball. What do you think here?
Yeah, this is an interesting one. I mean, Justin McMillan, I think he should be a better quarterback than what he is, the kid that took over, the LSU transfer from Jonathan Banks. But looking at it overall, I like the way they play defense the past couple weeks because they have a nice little formula. Quarterback that supposedly can throw the football, which I haven't really seen it all that well. He has a little bit mobile feet. Jonathan Banks more mobile and less of a passer than McMillan is, if you can believe it. But they have a couple good running backs, and they play some decent defense versus East Carolina. That game was just a weird game, just a weird overall game. You have over 700 yards of passing and end up with a 24-18 game. Now, they did beat South Florida 41-15, which I don't like South Florida all that bit, but that's an impressive win by a team going out versus an up-tempo team. So if you want to say, like styles that you play after, South Florida has a lot of similarities, Jeff, to what Houston has. And Houston's defense is abysmal. It's almost like when you lose the best defensive player in the country, possibly in Ed Oliver, that it breaks down completely, and it looks like it really has. But Houston's offense is a little bit more fluid. I should say a lot more fluid overall than what Tulane brings to the table. What's the motivation here, though, Jeff? Tulane, 5 wins, 1 more bowl win gets them to a bowl game, or excuse me, 1 more win gets them to a bowl game, which is a big deal to Tulane when Houston's in that waiting pattern. You know what I mean? Like 7 wins. We're not going to win the conference. We just play out the string. We're already going to a bowl. Ed Oliver basically has hung it up for the NFL. Where's the motivation for Houston in this game, Jeff, to lay a beat down on Tulane?
Yeah, no, I hear you on that. And Tulane has obviously got plenty of stuff to still take care of. I mean, they need another win, and it'd be sweet to get it against Houston. They got Navy on deck. That's always a tough prepared game to get prepared for. I think it's too many points. I don't like Houston, especially laying this kind of number. Defensively, they are really bad. If McMillan,
I would agree. I would
agree.
Against you, if you're going to get more than a touchdown against, at this point right now with Houston, they're not a really good bet on team, and there's not much motivation. If you came into this game saying, Houston has 5 wins and they're looking to turn it on to get this bowl win, yes,
or they're still alive in the
exactly, There's not a lot for Houston. Now, Houston win the game. I'm sure they'll be happy. They'll play hard. Yeah, I mean, they're college kids. They want to win the football game. They want to have fun and play. But when it all boils down to it, do you need to lay the wood? No. One team is actually coming in this game, hyping it up like, whoa, big stage. Look at this. Primetime game. We're going to be playing at Houston. The nation's going to see us, and we can win and get a bowl game. Tulane's going to be pretty excited in this game. We'll just see if McMillan can actually play a decent game at quarterback.
Now, Donnie, Tulane this year 8-2 to the under, and those are numbers way under 67. They're not under. They're usually lined in the 50s. 9 of the last 14 in between these two have gone under. Last two seasons, 20-17, 30-18. I mean, you had a pretty high total here for Tulane. I mean, generally a pretty decent defensive team. It maybe can make it difficult on Houston. Is Tulane built for a shootout? I mean, can they really?
No.
If this game gets out of hand and it's 14-0 quick, I mean, Tulane's kind of bogged down, man. I mean, 4 of their last 5 on the road have gone under. It's kind of a tale of two different teams. So total's interesting here.
No, it is interesting. I mean, they're not really an over team. I mean, I guess if you play a defense that's not going to stop the run and they can hit some big runs, but we've seen it, Jeff. I mean, you've bet Tulane. I've also bet Tulane as well. Their passing game is almost, well, if we throw a slant and Encolade breaks it downfield, we're going to get a big play. But they're not, let me drop 7 steps back and launch bombs downfield. That's not how they operate, you know?
Keep in mind, Encolade is questionable for this game. So
yeah, he got hurt. Did you see where the play got hurt on? Running down, scoring a touchdown, and somebody gave him one of those karate chops to get the football out. Did you see that?
I did see that, I believe, against
that
Eastern
was the
Carolina.
Play got hurt on. Yeah.
Brutal. Final game here, 3-13, 3-14. North Texas hosting Florida Atlantic. North Texas 4, total 64. I'll tell you what, Donnie, I'm kind of seeing something here. I like FAU in this game.
Yeah, there you go.
You know, you look at North Texas, and, you know, Seth Luttrell is a good coach. He's done a nice job here. This team is good at home. But then you look at them and you say to yourself, well, they're 4-6 against the spread. Defensively, they haven't been great lately. And, you know, you look at and ask yourself, Donnie, I see a lot of good games against the run. They're a good run defense. But I look at them and I say, well, have they faced a back like Singletary? Singletary's a good running back. There is not a lot of great rushing attacks. Look at this, Donnie. Let's say even over the last 6 weeks. I mean, you faced Old Dominion, Rice, UAB. UAB is probably the good rushing attack they faced, and they gave up 203. Southern Miss doesn't run the ball. UTEP doesn't do anything, right? La Tech's a passing offense. Liberty's a passing offense. You know, who really runs the ball effectively in this group? It's UAB. And Donnie, I feel like we have had some decent success, you know, at least with maybe games like this where you pick off a team that maybe is a little bit of a fraud. You know, I think Florida Atlantic.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to add to that when you say a little bit of a fraud, because this team had a lot of expectations. Mason Fine is as good a quarterback as you're going to find. Look at his stat line, Jeff. 23 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. And you say this team should be rolling because they have 2 of the better wide receivers on the same team in this conference when you look at Bussey and Guyton. I mean, they're big-time wideouts. But when you lose easily early on, because if you watch him play, he's that catalyst. You know, he had that three-man weave, as I like to call it, a dominant quarterback, a dominant running back, and a dominant wide receiver. In these conferences, it's really hard to stop. It's almost like when he went down, because you're right. When you look at the overall game plan that they say, well, they're doing pretty well. UTEP, Southern Miss, UAB, Rice, and Old Dominion all in a row. That's not really stepping up to competition. And then when you look at
Fresno,
Florida Atlantic,
Donnie, the same
what's
thing.
That?
They were Fresno was in the same situation.
A little bit. But then when you took also at FAU, what was the common denominator here? Robinson banged up and hurt. You beat at Marshall. Robinson banged up, misses the game, I believe, until the fourth quarter when he was hobbling, and they put him in. They lose to La Tech. He gets healthier, Jeff. What happens? You hang 49 points on FIU. You hang 34 points on Western Kentucky. Seems like when he's healthy, that offense, I mean, he's not the greatest quarterback you've ever seen, but when he's healthy, it seems like that offense gets a jolt, and he's healthy in this one.
Well, I mean, yeah, he was very good last week against Western Kentucky. It's really been kind of an interesting season.
By the way, Jeff, FIU is a really good defense. Did you see the stat line for rushing yards for FAU versus FIU?
Yeah, they had like
439. Yeah, they ran for 439 yards against a pretty good defensive football team.
Yeah, listen, cool. Let me tell you something. North Texas is they've not seen a rushing offense like this. Also, Donnie, keep in mind FAU against the pass, not great either. I think for the first time this year, Donnie, North Texas is 10-0 to the under this year. 10-0. They've not had an over yet this year.
Jeez.
I got a feeling. I get a feeling they get to one tonight. I think both these offenses are going to have some success tonight. FAU not great against the pass. North Texas, I think, is going to be a little bit shocked on the ground. I don't know, but I like FAU side-wise. I think they can go in and get the job done here. This team is 5-5.
Playing for like a conference. I mean, you look at UAB 7-0 in conference. North Texas is 3-3. And you take a look at FAU 3-3, and Middle Tennessee State 6-1. So this game might have a little bit one of those, Jeff. Dare I say, hey fellas, this is Lane Kiffin. We're going to run reverses, fake punts, ridiculous plays because we're on national TV, a standalone game for all intents and purposes. I mean, there's other games going on, but only 3 games tonight. Let's just have some fun and open it up. Can't you see that?
Yeah, I could see that, and I don't.
I'd actually, but more than the side, what do you like with go more, Jeff? You like the side in this game or the total? Because I actually like, and the line is, we pay attention to lines all the time. The line's going in the right direction. Opens up at 2.5, now sitting at 4. But early in the week when it was hovering still around that 3-point range, you were leaning in one direction. I think Florida Atlantic might be live in this game. And I love North Texas, but if you're going to give me 4 points and the offense is getting going for FAU and not a lot to play for, maybe Singletary just goes off and say, hey, Singletary, let's just get you like 3 bills on the ground here and send you out in style.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, I mean, I was wondering about FAU's defense, but I thought they were very good against La Tech. I know they didn't win that game, but La Tech's a pretty good offense. I thought they were pretty good there. They held Middle Tennessee
with South Florida kids, yeah. I mean, they got talent. They got talent. And also keep in mind, Jeff, North Texas is, I believe, from last time I watched them, a turf field. So Singletary used to playing on grass now gets that extra bonus of making cuts on turf in this one.
Yeah, Denton, Texas tonight's going to be fine weather. No issues weather-wise. Clear and 50. So should be a fun one. That'll be a good game. I'll take the 4. It seems like a decent play. Don't bet overs in college football. Good advice. I'm sure I'll listen to it. I'm not going to listen to that one though, Donnie. Let's keep it moving here. Let's go down to some hoops tonight. Donnie, you got a little hoops on the card. What are you looking at here? What do we got?
Let's see what we got here. We'll slide this down. Hoops, Jeff. And here's one that the reason why I put this game on the not because we're local and we're in the city of Philadelphia, but I saw the St. Joe line tonight, Jeff. And it sort of boggled my mind a little bit because, I don't dip in my toes to the water till a little bit later in college basketball season. And I know St. Joe's isn't actually tearing teams up on fire. You're playing an ACC team on a neutral court and favored by 4? What am I missing? Massive injuries? Danny Manning? What's going on here?
Well, the game's at 11:30 in the morning. It's in about a half hour. So I think the line is probably correct. I mean, it's a road game. St. Joe's is improved. Are they ready to go on the road and beat an ACC team no matter what the team is capable of this year? I think they are. I mean, I like St. Joe's. I think at healthy, they're a team that can compete to win the A-10. And I think this is a game that will further hurt Danny Manning. Danny Manning on the hot seat a little bit. And Phil Martelli's crew really is fiending for a win like this during the season. I kind of liken it to the other night for Temple University. They had 2 wins against subpar competition, and they were able to get a win against an SEC team. Didn't matter who the SEC team is. This is an SEC team. This one's a little different, though. It's on the road. I'm not in love with Wake. I don't really like much they do. I think they're a bad defensive team, and I think they probably will be exploited in this game. I don't know how to explain the line. I mean, this is a Wake team that, under Manning is not great against the number. They've been terrible as an underdog. It is a neutral court, so both these teams in a way are on the road. But when you talk about the road, it's always an interesting place, no matter if it's neutral or not. You're still not in your home gym. So for me, I would definitely look to St. Joe's.
Where's the game actually at? Conway?
Where is this game? I want to say it's. Let me find that out, Donnie.
Conway, isn't that Coastal?
Conway is Coastal. Conway, South Carolina. Yeah. Is that where the game is?
I don't know. I tried to click on it, but it was giving me an error, so I actually don't know.
Yeah, Myrtle Beach, so not far. So, yeah. So, I mean, close. So basically a road game for both. I just have a feeling this is a game for Manning where you kind of look at it and say, wow, you guys lost at St. Joe's. That's a tough loss. This is a good team, St. Joe's. A lot of good talent, a lot of size. A lot of ability to shoot the basketball. I mean, this team gave up almost 80 points to North Carolina A&T. I mean, that's not ideal. They don't really have a proven scorer on the block. I think St. Joe's could exploit them there with some of the bigs that Martelli has. So, yeah, keep in mind it's an early game, 11:30 a.m. That's not ideal for a young kid on a Thursday morning. I don't spot wise. It's one that I would probably avoid as a sports better. But I think St. Joe's can get the job done here.
Looks like the over is getting a little bit of a bite. Opened up at 150.5, now sitting at 152. So we'll see if the local boys can get after. What else we got here, Jeff? Penn State and DePaul. Anything to look forward to? 515, 516. It looks like 61% of the bets coming in on Penn State. That's a 9 o'clock start tonight. 1.5 Penn State favored.
Yeah, I mean Penn State is obviously rebuilding. Well, not rebuilding, but they're getting back to kind of normal where they are. A middling Penn State, a Big Ten program. They lose Tony Carr. He's gone. Mike Watkins is still out. Mike Watkins now dealing with some personal issues. He was arrested last year. He's been going through depression. Their big shot blocker. But you look at the first two games for the Nittany Lions. An impressive start. I mean, North Florida is no spring chicken. Jacksonville State's a pretty good team. You're able to beat them pretty handily. DePaul is DePaul. They're the worst team in the conference in the Big East. They have some talent, but I think Penn State's overall better. I mean, you look at I kind of want Penn State with Watkins in the lineup. Penn State's not really very deep. That's kind of one problem that Chambers has. With losing guys like Shep Garner and Tony Carr and Watkins, what that does is that forces you to have a smaller team, not a ton of depth, and you have players they're kind of playing that aren't maybe as equipped. Lamar Stevens is the guy. Him and Rasir Bolden, they're the two guys that Penn State's going to throw at you. I think the number's probably about right. I mean, Penn State should be probably a small road favorite, but DePaul is scrappy. They're ranked, and they'll be the worst team in the Big East, but they're still well coached. They have some decent players. Eli Kane, Dave Lateo has done a pretty decent job. I guess you could say he's on the chopping block over at DePaul, but it's hard to win there. Wintrust Arena, it's a new arena. I lean Penn State, but I'm not in love with this one. I mean, DePaul hasn't had much competition. They faced two MEAC opponents to start the season, but they have some talent. I mean, Max Struss, the European, had 25. Kane was very good against Morgan State. So I have a feeling this could be an interesting one. Why do I feel like, Donnie, the Big Ten group's going to get a lot of love here? This line's going to sit at 1.5 or go down to 1, and DePaul might be a little live in this game. Could be a good game, actually. Maybe more better than people might think.
UIC boys, Jeff, 63% are betting them tonight in early action. That's an 8 p.m. start. Opened up at 2. Now sits at 1.5, so a little bit of line drop. William & Mary, UIC, Jeff. Any interest here?
Yeah, this game is. I think if you're a fan of offense and basketball, this game's for you. You should see plenty of points in this game. I'd be quite surprised if this game's not in the high 80s or 90s. UIC has had major issues, Donnie, defending so far this year. They've given up 80 points or more, and I believe all 3 of their games so far. They've just had a lot of trouble. Duquesne put up a ton of points on them. This team has found a lot of issues early on. They haven't been able to finish games out. They're giving up a ton of points, and you're getting a William & Mary team in here, Donnie, that I think many people are well aware this team can score the basketball. Are they as potent as last year? No, they're not, because last year they were special offensively. They were, offensive efficiency, they were right up there with some of the big boys. They lost some talent. They're not as efficient, but I do think they'll find it a bit more easy to score against a pretty flimsy UIC defense. I mean, Donnie, listen to these scores so far in UIC games. 84-67, 88-78, 89-88. Common opponent, both lost to Duquesne by 1 point. Interesting. William & Mary lost by 14. Not as interesting. But either way, it's a high total. You should see plenty of free throws in this game. Both teams, guard-wise, are pretty solid. I'd have no way other to think than this one is high scoring. Does it get to 162? think it should, especially with the pace these two teams will play with. UIC has major defensive issues right now.
All right, a little college basketball action, Jeff, all day long. You can watch in here. Only a couple minutes left here on the show. What do we got the rest of the day, Jeff? I will be heading to the dentist. So you'll be going on a solo mission yourself today, Jeff, on WCKG Chicago Radio today for our closing line.
Yeah, I urge you all to join me. I'll be all by myself. We'll, I'll definitely make it. And we'll talk college hoops. We'll kind of chat about what we could do as a group to kind of improve our college hoops betting. I haven't had a great start to the season, but I think I'm still these games are still breakdownable, and I still think there's plenty of value in looking for the right spots. So we'll talk that. We'll talk some football as well. We'll take your calls. We've had some great calls over the last couple of days. You can join me. I'll be all alone. I guess I can run a show on my own. We'll see.
Yep, fire up the burners. Fire up the burners.
Well, there are no burners because there's no chat
burner
box.
Cell phones, man. Go burn a cell phone.
Yeah, well, I'm pretty good at figuring those out, so we'll see. But feel free to call in. Do you have a game you want to talk about? We can chat about it. You want to talk about whatever, we can chat about that. So join me at 3 o'clock for the closing line. What else do we have here? A couple more minutes. Anyone on Syracuse tonight? I'll take a look at that one. Yeah, all right, we'll wrap it up. Thanks, Donnie, as always. Great stuff. We will speak to you in the morning. You don't got anything on the cards today, so we won't be seeing you till tomorrow. But other than that, have a great day. Good luck at the dentist. Thanks everyone for joining us. And always stay warm wherever you are. Donnie, it looks like fucking winter wonderland out here right now. What's it doing at your house? Is it snowing?
I don't know. I'm in a cave right now, so I'll check it out in a minute. I'm sure the pup will be enjoying this snow if it's here running through there.
Sure. All right, guys. Have a great day. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.